Welcome to our virtual booth. There's a good and a bad thing about this year's exhibition. The really bad thing is that it's really important to me to meet you personally, to see how you're reacting to the product, to see the micro expressions on your face. The good thing is, after the first session where we're recording this, you will really be able to join at any time later if you've missed the live session. So no matter if you're live or if you're seeing the recording later on, welcome. What is Auterion? Auterion is a software company that does drones. And that's why we've put up this title for our presentation, which is Drones Don't Do Inspection, Software Does. Now that might be a bit provocative because you might think like, no, actually it's the system, it's the drone itself, it's the camera. And that is very much true. But we want to wake the industry a bit up and show how the trajectory of smartphones is really similar to the trajectory of software-defined drones that are really starting to happen this and next year and that we're enabling. And we start to get really traction with this in the US government, who really believes into enabling the whole US drone industry with a common architecture and with investment into the industry. The common architecture is called the Blue SUS architecture, and Auterion is the vendor that is enabling this open source solution for the DoD, but also for multiple drone vendors who are participating. And that's a pretty tectonic shift, because it not just means that now there is a common architecture and multiple vendors can work together and the customer actually demands that, but also because the US government has specifically set on open source software, because they have seen that Linux and other open source software really transformed their IT infrastructure over the past 20-30 years. So if you're interested, Google the title of the Forbes article. It's really insightful and really explains our position in the industry. What is Auterion as a company? We have more than 60 people, so we're still a startup, but one of the ones that really can push products. We are the largest contributor to the PX4 open source ecosystem. We're not the only ones, there are a lot more contributors. But we really stand behind what we're saying. We stand behind open source and we contribute to the overall industry. We contribute to the PX4 flight control kernel. That doesn't necessarily mean that you shouldn't come to us for the full product, because our software distribution is including a lot more software, a lot more functionality, and our cloud solution that you can only get at Auterion. We are an enabler of an ecosystem, and that means that we really care about our partners. We have great system partners like Avi, like Quantum Systems, like Freefly Systems. But we also have the partners that really implement the end use cases. And while we can't announce just yet our new exciting enterprise partnerships, we can talk about our partnership with the US government, like DIU, like the Army that is using the common ground controller that Auterion is providing the open source software for. The Auterion leadership is present at this exhibition, so I would quickly like to introduce everybody so you know who you're talking to and who you can find in the chat, in the virtual breakout rooms over the next couple days. So there's me, Lorenz, and my co-founder Kevin Sartori and me co-founded Auterion a couple of years ago, 2018, and really went on this journey. There's David Sharpen, who is the CEO of Auterion Government Solutions and runs all of our government business. So reach out to him if you have needs in that space. Also, if you are here from an oil and gas company and you have cybersecurity concerns with existing vendors, that is really the same profile. Reach out to Dave and he will be able to really answer all your questions. If you have questions around how to integrate our product into your airframe, into your system, reach out to our head of avionics, Thomas Gubler. Our team can make an introduction via email. If you, however, are running enterprise workflows and you're interested in our SDK and enterprise integration, reach out to Arnaud Tieselin. You can see him on the show floor, on the virtual show floor, or our team can make an introduction. And responsible for all of this and the absolutely right go-to person here is Xiaoming Setu, our head of go-to-market. Reach her via chat or on our virtual booth. She'll make sure you can talk to the right people over the next few days. Thank you. With that, I also want to introduce quickly our schedule. So you're seeing this session now, either live or recorded. After that, you will see a deep dive session, Auterion for Inspection, that will give you a really deep dive of everything that happens in that space, how we can support you there. Then there's a session on Auterion for Mapping, how we enable you to do mapping, surveying, anything larger, also with VTOL. And then finally, really important, our enterprise developer session that will talk to how we are enabling you to integrate with your enterprise workflow and how we're disrupting this by enabling you to bring software medium term also onto the drone and connect straight to your cloud. Now, what is Auterion? In a nutshell, we enable drone operations at scale. We enable you to run multiple vehicles, different types, maybe also from different vendors, with one system. And that's important because you have efforts on training, you have efforts on integrations, you have efforts on compliance, on insurance, on certification. We're making this really simple because today's drones are really defined by the software they run, and by running all the same operating system and the same flight control system from Auterion, you really save a lot of overhead, complication, and money. Now, the other important thing is we have interchangeable payloads, and not just for a particular vehicle, but you can really bring different payloads to different types of vehicles. So you can run, for example, a Sony Alpha 7R4 on a multicopter and do mapping of a construction site or do inspection of a cell tower. Or you can take the same camera to a VTOL and do long-range mapping with a transitioning vehicle. And that gives you the ability to always use the exact same workflow, the exact same lens. It makes it really easy. And then the last and probably most important aspect is we enable you with a connected and open system. It is connected, if you want so, always to the cloud. So you can take workflows that required early an SD card to a real-time workflow where you receive data as the drone captures it. And it's open because you can run your own software on the drone, and your partner, the drone manufacturer, the airframe vendor, they can also change things. So we're not like a black box vendor. We're an open platform that is built on open source, and that is the best way to connect autonomous systems to the enterprise. A really important building block for all of this is Skynode. Skynode is our avionics system that has the flight controller and the mission computer and the 4G or 5G modem and a lot of connectivity in the form of Ethernet and USB, all in a single small box. And it is really easy with that system to run fairly complex software workflows. It also has the interfaces to connect payloads straight to it, like a Sony camera or a Trillium gimbal. Anything like that can be straight connected to it. And with that, you have a very simple reference platform. However, we're not in the business of making autopilots. We're really doing this as an enablement to the industry and to our partners. So think of it more as the Google Nexus, if you're familiar with the Android ecosystem. So it is a product, and you can deploy it, and it's fully qualified. But you can also get, as a volume customer, the reference design from Auterion, and you can deeply integrate it into your drone system. And multiple partners have actually done that, Freefly Systems and Quantum Systems. So they have their own version of Skynode that is really specific to their use case and application. Skynode is also directly connected to the Auterion suite and cloud, and we'll talk about that in a second. With that, we're enabling a big ecosystem of vehicles and payloads. So you have drones from Freefly Systems, you have drones from Quantum Systems, in particular the VTOL, vertical takeoff and landing plane vector, and of course Trinity. And you have also smaller vehicles like the Vantage Robotics Vesper, which is a really small foldable drone optimized for ISR missions. There's also cargo applications and emergency applications like the AVI Era. And for all of these systems, you have one ecosystem of payloads that consists of Sony payloads, Workswell payloads, but also Next Vision or Trillium. So we're also covering the government and ISR space if you're interested in that. And of course, we're not limited to that. It's really easy to add a LiDAR to Skynode or some payload we really didn't think about it because you can run your own software on it. With that, we're really enabling what we call the drone to cloud workflow. So data from the payload goes straight into the cloud, and the enabler of that is the Auterion software platform running on the vehicle and typically running on Skynode. Now, the connector to your enterprise cloud is the Auterion suite, which both talks to the vehicle as well as to the payload and allows you to connect to an autonomous system the same way as you connect to any other web service. So it makes it really easy for your development team working on the ERP to integrate. With that, we're enabling a large ecosystem. So if you are an enterprise or government user and you want to run different workflows, you want to cover different applications, you now can with a single system in different sizes and for different use cases. One product that we'd like to feature here, because it has been just announced and it's covering a lot of the market, is the Freefly Astro. We're not preferential to all of our partners, but this is the latest announcement. And the Freefly Astro is important because it allows you to capture survey and inspection missions with a Sony Alpha 7R4 with 61 megapixels with unprecedented resolution. The product is just now coming out, so full specs will be available from Freefly within a couple of days from today. But what we can already share is how it can be used in various enterprise workflows. So reach out to our team if you're interested in it, and we can talk to you how it can really enable you. Now, this is really an important enabler, but the magic happens when you really connect all of your systems to the cloud. You get complete visibility of your operations. You know how much you're operating, how much you're exercising your fleet. You know how safe the operations are. Are there any warnings? Is there any compliance issue? Compliance is becoming more and more important because the drone space rightfully gets more regulated. The public is concerned about safety, and so are we. So we help you to ensure compliance every time you fly, because the flight logs of the systems are being uploaded in real time to our cloud. So it's not a hassle for the pilot. They don't have to export flight logs from SD cards or anything crazy. it just happens automatically. So it's easier on your operator, on your pilot, and it's easier on you, on your operation, because it seamlessly collects it all for you in one place and offers you analytics and a dashboard to get a really good high-level overview of how your operations are doing in terms of compliance. We also help you with predictive maintenance to increase the longevity of your fleet. So now you understand how individual systems are doing, which ones need servicing or maybe need to be put out of service, also for batteries, or where you can maybe safely continue to use an older vehicle. We're also continuing to provide constant software upgrades, so it's a bit like with a Tesla, it just gets better with time. The Auterion suite allows you to really get also the data from your drones, and please talk to our team to see how we can enable you to simplify your workflow so you don't have to go through SD cards anymore. You can connect straight to the drone via our cloud solution. Now there's one piece of all of this great future that you still need, and that is the operator control. You need to have some sort of human supervision of your operation, be that either in person on the ground with a handheld controller with sticks, which we're supporting, or with the exact same software, our Auterion mission control software, in the cloud on your desktop. And that makes it extremely scalable because you can fly missions within visual line of sight, and you can fly missions beyond visual line of sight with exactly the same software, exact same training. Now, we believe that we are enabling an ecosystem of partners. So Auterion Mission Control provides you a solid baseline. It doesn't do every single use case. So we have the Auterion SDK, which allows you to integrate with it and to continue to use the purpose-built applications for inspection or mapping that you're used to. And we're integrating with more and more partners, and we'll have announcements around them, around those partnerships in the next couple of weeks and months. If you want to learn more about Auterion, please join our next session, Auterion for Inspection. If you are interested in mapping, that's the session right after. And if you're more interested in how an overall integration can look like, join our Enterprise Developer session after that. Here's the schedule and times, and thank you for stopping by at our virtual booth. I really hope to meet you in person next year. Thank you.